time feeling fresh. Okay, I keep my homies with me, I can never stress. Okay, I keep my Bible on me, I'm forever blessed. I done paid my test, diamonds on my chest.
Where USDCHF has this structure point to the left, and it's the only thing to catch it, right? It's something where now between the area from yesterday that we were to now, you had support, you had 200 moving average, you have this point of structure, which is like, I would call it your daily level. Your daily level. I'm taking this on one of my accounts, right where it's at. Just so you guys are aware. Not taking it across the board, but I'm taking it on one of mine. 0.85584. So pretty much exactly where it's at. I'm giving it a shot. And it's going to look like this. 584. Gonna have to give like a 30, maybe 35 pip. However, this has massive potential because this is literally like a daily and a weekly reversal if it rises off of this. What's up, Chris? 30. I could even give 35 to 40 pips just because I'm having a large take profit. This is a long hold if this plays out, because we are talking about the daily creating a higher low, which would in turn create a higher high on the daily. So honestly, the final target is really more something like this. But of course, I mean, if I'm getting a 1 to 4 and I could get out as safe exit, I'm going to take that, because this is probably going to take like a week to play out if it rises. Just like it took about 7 days for it to get down here, it could take several days or even a whole week to get back up. USDCHF is funny, man. There's a lot of tiny candles on this pair. It's not known for being very fast moving. But this sticks out like a sore thumb to me in terms of price action, because I put higher time frame price action goes above everything. Market structure goes above. Then you look at, okay, indicators. But I would honestly say how market moves is based on higher time frame, market structure, price action. And while we are bearish on many time frames, this is one of our only points where we broke structure. The break above this zone is an obvious structure break. You look to the left and you say, if this market is bearish, support should turn into resistance. And it tried. It tried right here. You had 1 daily candle, 2 daily candles. Those were actually good sells, again, based on structure, if you sold at that spot, because that was completely going with the trend. Then market came up and this was like your second bearish move after this one failed. It's a little iffy, man. It's definitely not like A+, anything like that, because you are going against daily shark fin, daily hidden divergence. You are giving it 5, 10, there's a nice amount of candles from the distance of the shark fin to how far we travel down. Shark fins don't always go all the way to the lower low, all the way to a higher high. But what did we hit? We had 2 4-hour moving averages in the way on the way down. Your 4-hour is now technically a shark fin as we speak, with 35 minutes left on it. But like I said, it's not something that needs to be held too far, because if it starts coming too far, then we're breaking that structure point. That is the main focus of the entry. Yeah, see, if there's a 0, I actually like this stop loss. Like the stop loss because it's under the 0.5 fib. 618 would again look a little bit strange if it got there. But this does, I like the swing opportunity. I like the swing opportunity. Not a shark fin on your higher time frames. How is it? 3-hour and 3-hour 4. You got like a technical divergence even. Just have to watch out. There's definitely structure in the way on this thing's way up. There's going to be MAs in the way. There's going to be structure in the way. It's going to be a tough fight to get all the way up to the current high. But this is, I wish we wouldn't have hit the 50, man, because that was like, honestly, that was the move that we were supposed to get into. I missed it the first time. Had it drawn up for almost a week. I think even last week I had it drawn up and mentioned the buy at that level. but it happened quick when it actually came down. It was like the day of FOMC. Taking oil buys. The oil sell at the top was really nice. I have to see what happened with oil, but me and a couple people, some other people actually pointed it out, and I was like, yes, that was actually a nice oil sell. Let me just see. Yeah, we have NFP, non-farm employment. Yeah. It's a lot of red folder news. And if I'm trying to put together which one's more important, unemployment rate goes towards the bottom of the list in terms of importance. Non-farm employment, consumer sentiment, average hourly earnings are more important than unemployment rates. Yeah, Sam, I don't have like a huge entry on it just in case we get like a nasty wick. But again, remember like the concept of yes, news can go either way, but a lot of times news goes in the direction of the higher time frame. And with us tapping that daily level, we could either plummet right through to follow along with that daily hidden divergence. At the same time, if it's going to rise, this is the level it's going to happen at. This is that sweet spot of if it's going to rise, this is the only real thing to catch it. There's some structure. There's fib level. If we're going to reverse, it'll happen around this general area. We got 5 minutes till NFP comes out. Yeah, it's definitely not worth like taking a whole big entry right now just to have news like smash against you. You want to be able to save that risk in case there's a spike down and it still is at a reasonable area. I'm not saying if it comes all the way down here, just keep buying it, but I'm saying if it's within this general, and especially if it wicks down and we get like a smaller time frame like candle close. I'm trying to see. That's why I highlighted this level. With news, it's very common for levels to get broken and then candles close above and respect it, and it turns into a wick. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to and really looking for is that our candles stay on or above this level. 1 hour bands, 1 hour TDI got a little funky now. There was that 1 hour shark fin yesterday. 30-minute bands got touched with divergence at this structure point. If you're taking 1 to 4s, 1 to 5s, you just have to really be able to survive and handle the loss if it happens, or 2 or 3, handle the losses. I'm not saying to intentionally have a low win rate, because I'd say on the majority, I still win more than definitely win more than half the time. And when I do win, the wins are significantly larger than the losses. But how that fits into the way I trade is just that I'll trade like once or twice a week. That's the only way I've found to be able to have really good stats. Stats are not that great. Well, kind of glad I held on to that buy. Higher time frames. Gold had 4 hour divergence. So I'm assuming that news came out good for the dollar. Okay, it's not out. I know, Sam. I feel like I've seen so much with news. Like when you were like, oh, you're entering right before, and because it came to that significant area, divergence was there was structure, but I didn't technically have a stop loss. This was my mental stop loss, but again, having seen so many news releases, man, it's like I've seen it all. I've seen it smash it. I'm always prepared for the worst. That's why I'm like, I'm not going to enter crazy, right? Not going to enter crazy. I wouldn't have even taken a 1% long if this thing failed. Right? It's a 3, 8, 16, 24, 32 on a 40 pip. Dang, all the news came out positive. Now, this is why we jumped the way we did. NFP, or NFE, if you want to call it that, came out double the forecast. The other average hourly earnings, double the forecast. That's why. So you literally have a reason for why your charts do what they do. Dang. I kind of hope that if you guys wanted to get in this, you were able to. When I almost posted it in the chat, but in the signal thing, but then it was almost like you should just wait for news to really call it. Because I don't typically enter right before news unless there's Again, higher time. If there's a higher time frame reason, I was prepared for the wick down. This was is it 40 pips, right? 40, yeah. So this would have been a 1% loss for me if it would have came all the way down here. But if this thing plays out, it's going to be like a 5% win. And we just have to break this level. If we come all the way back down, it's not going to look great. We need to break. I highlighted this zone as the first major area against us. So in a normal condition, this is where stop loss would go to break even, because it's most likely a 50 moving average on a lower time frame, which we'll see. It's probably a 15-minute is going to make a wicked shark fin when the candle closes because of how big it is. So we're most likely wherever the candle closes, like wherever we close at, is probably going to be a shark fin. So we'll have to see where that happens at. 30-minute has 2 moving averages, has structure. This should be that push through though. Let's look at our weekly, and this is why I entered at this spot. We were talking about a potential weekly head and shoulder, not really quite head and shoulders, but you can really highlight the structure point of why we entered, why it was so significant for this area to break, why I looked for buys yesterday, why I looked for why I was biased on buys. When we were trending down, there was no talk of buys, right? It was just because there was nothing else. You were dropping off a weekly hidden divergence that came and made a lower low. We came up, significant area of market structure broke and flipped into support. So we should, if this holds up, create a higher high. We should in turn make that higher high. I'm floating at a 1 to 2 right now. Not gonna lie though, it does look pretty sick on MT, like because my entry was literally like a minute, the same 30-minute candle of which it took off was right at this spot. It does look sick, but I'm gonna tell you, man, there's times with news where I've been bitten before too. And like I said, that's why I wasn't willing to risk more than like especially I wasn't scalping. So that's why my stop loss was big enough that even if news came out, I would most likely have survived the turmoil more than likely. And like, I don't put a hard stop in anyway. The only time I actually input a stop loss is if I'm leaving the house and won't have service, like if I'm going somewhere or if I'm going to bed. 100%, there's always a stop loss if I'm going to sleep. Don't ever trade without a stop loss. But while I'm at the chart, especially during news, I will intentionally remove it because of the potential spreads and wicks that could happen. Advertise more as live trading. I don't even like to call it a signal group because I notice it creates certain expectations. And then people have a slight misinterpretation of exactly what I do. And the best way to summarize it is literally I live trade every single day. I teach. And when I see things that I'm willing to take myself, I share it with you. So if anybody is newer, know that I do not call signals. I do not call trades to please people or to, I'll analyze whatever you want me to analyze. I'll look at your trade. I'll give you your feedback on the live sessions. But understand that if I'm calling stuff out or talking about it, it's because I'm looking to take it, right? Like I trade myself. I make money trading. I'm not somebody who pretends to trades demo, or just makes their living off of subscriptions. I'm funded with multiple prop firms. I get paid out from them. So know that trading is a main endeavor of mine. Trading is first, teaching it is second. So it is, just so you guys are aware, which I know that those of you guys who have been here for a while do know, but for newer people, yes. When I'm drawing stuff up,
Okay, I keep my homies with me, I can't
usually that means like if I send a trade idea, if I send unless there's price action changes over time. But in most scenarios, I'm just trying to basically let you guys know exactly what I'm doing. divergence on multiple time frames. You know, somebody was calling me crazy yesterday for taking USDs, for talking about those buys. What I did, I don't know if he's on the call. Because me and him were talking about it last night also. No, I don't think he's on here. There's a couple people, man. Like USD CHF buys is a trade that not a lot of people see. I don't know, for maybe it's based on certain people's strategies, but there's something